Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you have followed this channel very long, you know that I am a writer. Well, that love of writing originally came from my love of reading. Books have been such a huge part of my life. Ever since I was little tiny, I have had an insatiable desire to read. I read all the time. I'm constantly reading 2, 3, 4 books at a time. And I thought it would be a lot of fun to start incorporating some book content into this channel. So here we are with my first ever TBR video. I know it's coming kind of late in the month. We're about halfway through June, but that's okay. Why not still just go ahead and do it? I have a list of books that I'm really excited to read this month. Of course, I've started on a few of those books, but I'll just run through those today and let you know kind of what's on that TBR for June. First up, we have the book Every Hour Until Then. Now, this is a timeless series book. This is actually book 5 in the series. And I have loved this series. It's basically historical mixed with time travel, kind of. The main character or characters in the case of the third book have this ability to live dual lives in 2 different time periods of history. There's a lot of rules that surround what they can or can't do in those 2 time periods in order to not mess up the historical timeline, and at a certain point in their life, at a certain age, they have to make a decision of which timeline they are going to remain in for the rest of their life. And it's just such a cool premise. There's a lot of historical events that happen in these books, and our characters have to navigate those events in history and figure out what to do and what choices to make. And there's actually quite a bit of emotion that runs through these books. So I won't lie and say I have not cried in these books. They can definitely bring on the tears, but they have been an amazing series so far. And like I said, this is book 5, so well on my way. I'm about halfway through this one right now and really enjoying it and interested to see how the author is going to tie this up. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the plot in this one, but basically our main character in this one is living in the time period when Jack the Ripper is out at large and committing his violent crimes, and also living in the time period of leading into the Second World War. And I don't think I mentioned it, but all of the Timeless books are actually written by Gabrielle Meyer, and that is an ongoing series. I think the 6th book is actually set to release in November of this year, so I'm looking forward to that. The next book on the TBR is Crown Conspiracy by Connie Mann, and this one has such a unique premise. The tagline on this says, she's a master at spotting a forgery and knowing how to create one, but can she solve a decades-old mystery? And this mystery involves a royal family, and she gets drawn really deep into all of this, and I'm interested to find out what all happens. But at the end of the summary on the back of the book, it says, from Germany's grand castles and soaring cathedrals through the Alps to the canals of Venice, Sophie must choose her allies carefully if she hopes to find the portraits, so there's some portraits that went missing, and rescue her best friend and perhaps save a throne before time runs out. So, interesting book. I'm looking forward to hearing more. I mean, it's not every day that you have somebody who's an art forger, and so it's going to be interesting to see why is she forging the art, what is happening with that, how is she drawn into this mystery, and what is going to end up happening in this kind of international mystery intrigue book that includes a royal family. The next book that I'm hoping to read this month is called Spectres in the Glass House, and this is by Jamie Jo Wright. I have read another book by her, and it was really, really good. She writes very, I don't know how to explain it, like atmospheric, a little bit of gothic feel, mystery, and then also she has an element of a time-crossing, time travel thing that's happening, where she's looking at 2 individuals who live in 2 different times, but things that tie together between those times in history with what is happening in the book. So the tagline on this one is an ominous butterfly house, a sinister legacy, an untraceable killer. So this looks really interesting. Like I said, her books are very mysterious, very atmospheric, and I'm excited to dive more into her backlist because I have just read one book and I'm very interested in reading more by this author. The next book is Storm Warning, and this is the first in a new series by Elizabeth Goddard. And this looks really intriguing. It's another kind of mystery book. As you can tell, I love mysteries. I read a lot of different things, but mysteries definitely are a big part. Mystery, thriller, suspense. This one says, haunted by a half-forgotten past, former Army photographer Remy Grant is working at an isolated storm-watching lodge on the rocky Washington coast when she receives a mysterious puzzle piece. The piece may be the catalyst to unlocking a disturbing incident she struggles to remember, the event that sent her into hiding. But with heavy storms rolling in, she must focus on the present, not get caught up in the past. When a mysterious man at the lodge saves her life more than once, Remy becomes suspicious and confronts him. After a catastrophic event in his own life, former military pilot Hawk Beckett is trying to get some perspective at the suggestion of his former commanding officer. Faced with the fiercest storm to hit the coast in a decade, Remy and Hawk are forced into survival mode. But they're not alone at the lodge. Someone doesn't want Remy to remember what happened, and they will stop at nothing to see her dead. So, another one that looks really intriguing. What really caught my eye on this one is not only the mystery component, but also the fact that there are storms and that she is watching for these storms. I've always been completely into storms. I love thunderstorms. I'm one of those people that gets super happy when I hear thunder, and I like to read or write or do something cozy and listen to the sounds of the rain and the thunder. And that is, I will definitely say, that is what caught my attention with this one. So I'm hoping that the storms do actually play a pretty heavy role in the mystery and in the story, because that is one of the things that drew me to this one. Another genre that I really do like to read is fantasy, and I stumbled upon this book, and it's called Mortal Queens. I've never heard of this author before. Her name is Victoria McCombs. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. But this is the first book in the Fade Dynasty series. I think there's 2 out right now. I don't know if there's going to be more, but I really do love fantasy, and I wanted to give this author a try. And this book says, each year on the Center Island, one girl is chosen to be the next mortal queen of the idolized Fae. The mortals praise these lucky girls, but their daughters are never seen again. The Fae realm is eternal night where disputes are settled by chess matches, power is acquired through the most devious kinds of trickery, and 7 elusive kings roam. The Fae hide their faces behind masks and guard their glass hearts to keep them from shattering. But beyond the veil of this luxurious paradise, a dark secret simmers, for their queens have disappeared. When aspiring artist Althea is selected, she is desperate to avoid the same mysterious fate. With no one to trust, she conceals messages and paintings and receives anonymous replies from a stranger who slowly reveals the tale of a girl who outwitted the Fae. Only if she is clever enough will Althea survive the fate of the mortal queens, as long as the king who cannot love does not claim her first. So, sounds intriguing. Like I said, again, first book in a new series. I believe this is young adults. I'm honestly not sure whether this is young adult, or kind of crossover. I'll have to figure that out. But it looks pretty intriguing, and I definitely wanted a fantasy on my list for this month because that's another genre I love to read. Another new release that looked intriguing to me is The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. This one says it is 1901 when clockmaker and tinker Sidney Forrester receives a most unusual inheritance. Blakely House, the island estate of an estranged uncle she's never met, seems almost alive, revealing and hiding its secrets at will. It is filled with remarkable inventions, including an intriguing unfinished automaton Sidney is itching to get her skilled hands on. The estate is also home to a number of peculiar people, including 2 men intent on removing this interloper from the island. Convinced that Sidney has something to do with their uncle's death, the late master's nephews contest the will and work against their cousin at every turn. Sidney finds a sometimes ally in the estate's butler, an ex-adventurer who ran aground on the island years ago. But when a mysterious man washes ashore with a stunning surprise that upsets everything, Sidney must prove she has inherited the late master's brilliance as well as his property, or someone else will. This one looks like a really fun blend of historical, mystery, and there's inventions in here, so maybe a bit of science, a dash of technology, something like that in here. That's going to be a lot of fun. A contemporary mystery I'm really looking forward to starting is this one called Lifelight by Lynette Eason. Now, Lynette Eason is one of my favorite mystery authors. She is exceptionally prolific and has a lot of series out there, and this is one of her newer series, and this is called Extreme Measures, this series, and there's 4 books, I believe. And this is number 1. I'm hoping to get started on this one. The main characters in this one are an EMS helicopter pilot and an FBI special agent, and it looks like they have to land on a mountain in a raging storm with a critical patient, and apparently there's also a serial killer on the loose. So that is a lot happening in this story. It looks really interesting. I cannot wait to start this series. There's, like I said, 4 books in this series, and usually once I start one of Lynette Eason's series, I kind of just binge through the whole thing. I'm going to try to hold myself back because I have so many things on the TBR to read, but definitely looking forward to getting into this one. And last but not least, another one that I have is a thriller, and this is called Broker of Lies by Stephen James. Now, Stephen James has a lot of books that he has written, and he's actually a national best-selling author. His specialty is thrillers, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is a newer series, I believe, that he has just released in the last couple of years, and I think there's only 2 books out right now. And these are Travis Brock thrillers, and that is the main character in these books. I'll go ahead and just read you the short summary on the back for this one. The man who knows all our secrets has a secret of his own. When Travis Brock, a high-level Pentagon redactor with an eidetic memory, finds a clue to solving the tragic arson that took his wife from him, he risks everything to find the truth, and chances losing himself in the process. With a terror attack looming on the horizon and a pair of assassins on his tail, Brock drops off the grid and joins forces with a disavowed Homeland Security operative. Together they race to stop the attack before Brock is neutralized by the people he trusts the most. This one looks like it's going to be very fast-paced and a real fun ride. I cannot wait to start this one. I actually kind of started it. I read the little introductory chapter and was immediately wanting to know what happens next. So ready to jump into this one, but I need to finish some of the other ones I'm in the middle of right now, which I'm hoping to have those finished in the next week or so, and then I'll be able to jump into some of these other ones. So those are the books on my TBR for the month of June. I am incredibly excited by this particular TBR. Like I said, because we're halfway through the month, I have already started on a few of them, and I'm definitely enjoying them. This is also my birthday month, so I was just going based off of my mood. I was just picking books that's like, oh, this looks like fun. I want to read that. But maybe next month I'll do kind of like a TBR game or something like that to help choose what I'm going to read for July. What are you all reading this month? I hope you have a fun list of books for all of you that are readers out there. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited to be bringing some book content onto my channel. Like I said, books are such a huge piece of my life, and I am pretty much never without 1, 2, or 3 books on my nightstand. I love to read, and I love sharing about reading and talking about books, so this is exciting for me to be able to have that outlet here on my channel as well. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.